Have you ever reached a point where everything you once relied on, your routines, your assumptions, your carefully laid plans, suddenly felt fragile, as though a gust of wind might overturn them? Maybe it was a shifting job market, a change in your relationships, or even a global event that upended the world as you knew it. In those moments, it can feel as though the ground has vanished beneath your feet, leaving you scrambling to find something solid to hold on to. We all face the same truth. Life's only constant is change, and resisting it often leaves us more unsettled than the change itself. Yet, amid the flux, there are creatures whose very existence depends on embracing transformation. Creatures that seem to say, adapt or struggle, but never fear the unknown. Today, I invite you to step alongside three remarkable teachers of adaptability. The chameleon, whose mastery of camouflage speaks to our ability to blend with shifting circumstances. The Arctic fox, whose seasonal reinvention shows us the freedom in embracing new identities. And the axolotl, whose miraculous capacity to regenerate reminds us that every ending can spark a fresh beginning. Their lives are woven with change, and by watching their rhythms, we can discover a path to not merely surviving upheaval, but thriving in its wake. Chameleons, the subtle art of blending in. Imagine yourself in a dense, sun-dappled forest, where every leaf and shadow seems to shimmer with possibility. As you step forward, you catch a glimpse of movement on a branch above, a tiny shape that shifts from emerald green to dusky brown in the blink of an eye, then melts away entirely. That is the chameleon, nature's quiet shapeshifter, whose skin speaks a language of survival and subtlety. A chameleon's color change is driven by complex layers of pigment cells, responding to light, temperature, and even emotional state. But beyond the biological marvel lies a deeper message. Rather than confronting challenges head-on, sometimes the wisest choice is to move with them, to find harmony with our environment rather than friction. By matching its surroundings, the chameleon avoids predators and surprises prey. It reads the lesson of each moment and adjusts its own expression accordingly. In our own lives, we can become so attached to one way of being, one job, one role, one identity, that when circumstances shift, we feel unmoored. What if instead, we approach change as the chameleon does, observing the new landscape and asking, how can I align my strengths with these emerging patterns? Perhaps it means updating a skill set to match industry trends, or softening our tone to connect with a different audience. It might even look like experimenting with a new style of leadership, of communication, or of daily routine, until we find the shade that allows us to move through our world unseen by stress and unburdened by resistance. The next time you face an unfamiliar context, pause like the chameleon. Note the colors around you, what's valued, what's feared, what's sought. Then, without losing your essence, shift your presentation to match the moment. In that fluidity, you discover not camouflage, but authentic adaptability that keeps you safe, effective, and wholly present. Arctic foxes, dancing through the seasons of self. Now journey north to the silent expanses of the Arctic tundra, where winter's long night yields to summer's midnight sun. Here, the Arctic fox waits for two very different worlds to reveal themselves. One draped in white, the other painted in the sparse greens and browns of brief warmth. As the seasons turn, so does the fox's coat, transforming from snowy white to tawny brown, a metamorphosis that ensures it remains in step with the land. This seasonal reinvention is more than aesthetic. It is a profound acceptance that identity, like climate, is subject to change. Beneath the fox's sleek fur lies the same resilient spirit, yet its outward form shifts to meet the needs of each season. Camouflage for successful hunting, insulation for survival, visibility for social signaling. In every cycle, the fox reminds us that holding on to a single version of ourselves can leave us out of sync with reality. We, too, pass through seasons of life, youth to maturity, job to career change, calm to crisis. Yet so often we resist our own transformation, clinging to past glories or identities that no longer fit. The Arctic fox invites us to release the pressure to remain static, trusting instead that each season calls for a new expression of who we are. Perhaps it is adopting a new mindset when your role at work evolves, or letting go of habits that served you in one chapter but hinder you in the next. Imagine the relief of standing in your own changing truth, confident that beneath the alterations lies the same core of purpose and passion. When you embrace reinvention as the fox does, you move through life's seasons with grace, meeting each moment as a fresh opportunity to grow. Axolotls, the miracle of regeneration. Finally, submerge yourself in the gentle stillness of a cool mountain spring in Mexico, where an axolotl glides among the reeds. This unusual salamander defies expectations. When a limb is lost, or even part of its heart or brain is damaged, the axolotl does not merely heal, it regrows, restoring itself to wholeness. There is no scar, no permanent loss, only renewal that seems almost miraculous. This capacity for regeneration is more than a survival mechanism. It is a profound metaphor for our ability to recover from life's severest wounds. We carry scars of broken relationships, failed ventures, and past traumas that can harden us if left unaddressed. Yet the axolotl shows us that within us lies a similar potential to regenerate. If we nurture the right conditions: rest, reflection, supportive community, and self-compassion. When you misstep or are hurt by unexpected change, it can feel as though you are forever marked. But imagine approaching your own wounds with the axolotl's quiet confidence in renewal. What if, instead of fearing the break, you recognized it as a gateway to deeper growth? In practice, this might look like seeking the help you need: therapy, honest conversation, creative expression, or giving yourself permission to pause and rebuild piece by piece. By leaning into healing rather than hiding our scars, we discover that change need never be a source of permanent suffering. Instead, it can be the very stimulus that prompts us to reconstruct stronger and more beautiful versions of ourselves. Through the chameleon's seamless shifts, the Arctic fox's seasonal reinvention, and the axolotl's regenerative grace, we see that the natural world does not fight change. It flows with it, leveraging each turn of events to flourish. In their stories, we find a roadmap for our own lives, to move beyond resistance, to wear our transformations like badges of honor, and to trust in our innate capacity to heal and evolve. As you reflect on your own journey, consider the ways you have clung to past skins that no longer fit, or resisted the call to renew, or stiffened at life's inevitable cuts. Let these creatures guide you back to a posture of openness, one that bends without breaking, that sheds without fear, and that regenerates with curiosity. Take a deep breath now, and imagine standing at the edge of your own comfort zone, facing a change you've been resisting. Feel the invitation to shift your colors like a chameleon, to honor the passing season of your life as the Arctic fox honors hers, and to tend your wounds with the gentle determination of an axolotl. Ask yourself, in what ways might I practice blending more fluidly with new circumstances? Where could I lean into my own reinvention instead of mourning what's ended? And how might I begin to regenerate the parts of myself that have been wounded, trusting that each piece can grow back stronger than before? Allow these questions to settle into your heart without judgment. Notice if a sense of possibility stirs within you, a quiet assurance that adaptability is not a loss of self, but a return to our deepest resilience. Change is not an adversary to be conquered, but a river to be navigated. By learning from the chameleon's gift of blending, the Arctic fox's seasonal transformation, and the axolotl's miraculous regeneration, we come to understand that our greatest strength lies not in resisting change, but in dancing with it. So the next time you feel unmoored by life's twists, remember the lessons of these three remarkable creatures. Shift your hues to meet the moment, reinvent yourself without fear, and allow your wounds to become engines of renewal. In doing so, you will not only survive change, you will thrive within it, flowing ever forward on the currents of life's endless possibilities. And these teachers are still guiding us if we have the courage to watch and the openness to learn.